We're live, baby. We are back in action, dude. Back in action. We are just a couple of bros, dude. Just a couple of bros coming to you on the podcast Work Hard. I'm your host, Ethan. This is my co-host, Jason. My good buddy, dude. We have become good buddies.
Yes, sir.
Over, I feel like kind of a rapid period for two dudes who have families and jobs and stuff.
Yeah, probably.
But we also do talk at least once a week.
Yeah.
And most of the time, twice a week. Also, you guys are my only friends now. That's it.
The brotherhood, you mean?
Yeah. I got my best from high school, but other than that, it's just you guys.
By the way, if you're curious about what we mean when we say the brotherhood or our group of friends, message us. Email us at workhard
At hyperpremium.co.
workhard at hyperpremium.co.
Yes.
No
No
M on the end.
No M on the end. Yeah. You have explained it. You explained it, I think, our last recording, actually.
The brotherhood? Mm-hmm. Possibly.
Not in full. But
Not in full
you
detail.
touched on it, yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to continue our discussion today about the new St. Andrews ad. The plan, I think, was to just unpack the whole ad in that one episode, but we ended up just talking about that one thing for the entire episode. So we're going to go
Basically, Johnny Cash's middle finger and
Yeah.
when you should aim to be offensive and for what reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And I made the argument for just generally being more offensive. So, today we're going to talk about, I think, the actually more important part of that ad, which is the or that mortality is guaranteed, that your death in the fight for goodness, truth, and beauty, your death is certain.
Well, one in that I guess there's two parts to it. There's the part that you have to, as a Christian, die to yourself in order to serve Christ.
Yes.
And the second part is that this is our immortal body that we live in, and so everyone is going to die. And accepting that and not pursuing immortality in some sort of man-made, ridiculous Walt Disney's head in a jar kind of a way. Or cryogenic freezing, or taking the blood of younger men and pumping it into your veins to last longer, and
Swag.
Smearing baby blood on your face. That sort of thing. That's the wrong kind of immortality.
That is the wrong kind of immortality.
Anyway.
Yeah. So
you're going to die.
Yeah, and I think a second layer that we want to layer in here is also the importance of, especially for men, the importance of not prioritizing individuality too much, leaning too hard into individuality like the West does today, and how that can really undermine your purpose. Sorry, I'm dragging on a cigar, which I'm not usually doing when we record these for this exact reason. Trying to smoke a cigar on a podcast that your mic won on is not the most responsible thing. But here we go. So I think, where to start? I think a good place to start is to say that I think one of the things that's important here is that, like, the metaphorical sense of, like, mortality guaranteed that they say in the ad. Like, you are I think a good thing to think about, or the good way to look at it, is that you're guaranteed to lose something.
Yes.
And you're guaranteed to have to sacrifice something to win this fight. I don't think that you are. I don't think it's a good idea to try to come out of life scot-free. I think that that's a bad idea. I think that there's this, like, I just made Jason listen to this song that he really enjoyed, called Self Care, is it called Self Care? Self Care? It's called Self Love. That's what it's called. It's called Self Love, by Shannon Blake. If you guys don't know who Shannon Blake is,
Don't look her up.
Don't look her up because first of all, she's insanely hot, but also she's never wearing clothes. So,
I don't think you're incentivizing our audience not to look her up.
well, that should
that
incentivize
description.
you because it's going to be worse if it was an ugly girl who is not wearing clothes. Then why would you want to look at an ugly girl wearing clothes? Like, that's not dangerous. That's not going to tempt you. She's this big fatty boombatty who's like, not dressed well. Jason is giving me a very disapproving look right now.
I'm confused as to your approach.
I just wouldn't be. If somebody was like, yeah, there's a mad ugly girl in a swimsuit, don't look, I'd be like, no problem. So it was not. I'm not tempted to. I don't need to.
No, I mean the one photo you showed me was that she had like lots of she like an insane amount of makeup. She looks like a Barbie doll face.
Yeah.
She looks so plastic in the face.
Well, she's got like very thick blonde hair that's all in dreads.
Yeah, that was the other part.
And she's covered in. There's this one video that she does where she's in a car, but the car is like, they got all this like fake moss. It's very strange. It's very strange. But her whole, she's like a Burning Man, like EDM, do mushrooms vibe. We're gonna talk to the aliens. Like,
right.
She's like that.
Eastern. That one photo looked like Eastern mysticism.
Mm-hmm.
Like she looked like she has gone to India.
She talks about that.
There we go. See, called it.
Exactly. Yeah, called it exactly. Yeah, she has like her song that made her popular. She was talking about doing acid and like looking at the pyramids, which is the gayest.
I'm sure it would do something.
Yeah, right. Guys. Listen, I've been around psychonauts. All right, been a psychonaut myself. All right, I have. I constantly have to move my legs and my feet because I did acid one time and it went south on me, and I spent like 18 hours basically in hell. Not like I wasn't like hallucinating that I was in hell. I was just incredibly uncomfortable and not having a good time for 18 hours. And then after that, ever since, I've had long-standing physical repercussions. If I don't get enough sleep, it's wild. Anyways, it's not worth it. And also
don't open those portals.
Yeah. Don't open those portals. You're a human being. You are not capable of dealing with the powers that be that are on the other side of that veil. And, the guys that were equipped by the Lord to deal with that stuff, only visited that side of reality after 40 days of not eating and doing nothing but praying and meditating. So there was intense, serious mental preparation that went into acid. It's too quick. It's too convenient. It's not, if you really want to go to that side of the world, you feel called to do that, then you need to do some very serious preparation to go there. But you're not called to do that. That's not you. So don't worry about it. Anyways, this girl's whack. She is hot, but she is scantily clad. So don't look her up. But her song, there's this lyrics in her song that's like, it's self-love is like a superpower. I'm my own top priority. Everything I do for me. Which is,
it's so sad.
Yeah, it's not even, I was about to say it's like a despicable way of thinking, but it's not even despicable. It's just, it's sad.
She's searching for happiness.
Right.
In all the wrong places.
Right. Which is another thing, guys. And this is kind of the point that I wanted to make with it, which is that this like immortal search that people have been in for the past, since boomers, this like the Western population has been in this never-ending, desperate, wretched, clutching search for happiness. And happiness is poison. You should not at all ever be trying to be happy. The best thing you should be, the most you should be trying to do is at peace. Trying to experience is peace. That's it. And the Lord is very explicit about how to gain that rest, how to gain that peace.
Joy.
Yeah.
That gives you joy, and joy is different than happiness. Happiness is a cocaine that wears off,
It's fleeting. Yeah.
fleeting, and unsatisfactory in the end. Joy is everlasting for literal eternity
Right.
and will only build.
Right. And happiness is great, is very circumstantial, and your circumstances will change.
As soon as things don't go your way,
Yeah, that happiness is gone.
you're on that roller coaster of ups and downs, just trying to get on the highs
Right. And so
and
you want
stay on the highs as long as possible, but you will crash. It's impossible to stay up indefinitely.
yeah, so you want to aim at peace. Peace will set you free, and peace is not circumstantial. Peace will come despite anything. You want to get to a place where no matter what happens, you feel equanimous. And what's a good way for men to do that? Well, self-sacrifice. That is a fantastic way for men to gain peace. And self-sacrifice guarantees mortality.
Yeah,
soldiers-
when you're built to live for others.
Yes, men specifically are built to that. That is the essence of being a man, is sacrificing for other people.
I should say, I mean, women are as well. Women sacrifice themselves for their family. They sacrifice their bodies
Right,
to have children.
right.
Radical changes happen to women's bodies, and they're different after every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Literally sucks the minerals and everything out of them to build another human.
Yeah,
Like, you think that's going to leave you unchanged
right,
and not having to rebuild a lot?
right. But that is a great task. Women are called to a fantastic, incredible adventure that is childbearing and child rearing, and men are called to in their own way.
Right.
Men are called to an incredible adventure of building and conquering, and
Build families and conquer anything that stands in the way of that family prospering.
exactly. And if you think you're gonna get out of that without incurring some scratches, you are a fool.
You can't clear the brambles without getting cut up.
Yeah, man, you can't. So
If we had a sponsor, we would cut to that. You go, unless you own a BCS tractor.
yeah,
The new brush hog.
you know what would be super sick, dude, to get as a sponsor? Michael Knowles' cigar company,
That'd be cool.
Mayflower.
Yeah,
Can you think how sick would it be to do a Mayflower ad? That'd be sick.
I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah.
The reason we're blowing to the microphone today is because of our sponsor, Mayflower.
Mayflower, beautiful
you.
cigars.
Thank you, Michael Knowles.
Yep. Thank you, Michael Knowles, for the thousands of dollars. Thank you for letting Jason and I quit our jobs. We didn't.
One day, maybe we'll meet Michael.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how all this pans out. Uh-oh. I don't know. The caffeine's fading. Uh-oh. I might need to go get one of those warm beers. Oh, no. Emily took the truck.
So
My warm beers.
No warm beers.
Oh, my goodness.
Nothing else in the house.
I'm going to put this down because I think this is distracting me.
All right.
Geez Louise. All right, let's pick it up here, Jason. Let's do this. Let's do this. What are we going to talk about? Sacrificing yourself, mortality guaranteed. I think that, okay, I got a good one. I got a good angle to take on this. When I was in high school, I thought that I was smarter than everybody because I was real postmodern in my disposition. I wasn't educated enough to know what postmodernism was. But everybody was so into football and into teams and purpose and things to do and drive. People seemed to care about things that didn't matter. And I was an intellectual. I was watching teen angst movies that were like, what was a movie? I can't remember the name of the movie, but the quote that opens the movie, this is so gay. I can't believe I was into this. The quote that opens the movie is, throughout all of human history, there have been about 14 billion people, and none of them made it out alive. Can you imagine being that gay? A lot of them made it out alive. All the Christians made it out alive.
Oh, well, you're talking. Okay.
He was saying his follow-up to that is, so you might as well orient your life to enjoy yourself.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it doesn't matter.
What movie was this?
I don't remember the name of it. and I'm glad. But dude, oh my gosh, let's talk about for just 1 second how hot the teen angst girls in movies, dude. Emma Watson in Perks of Being a Wallflower. I remember watching that and just Jason, I was in physical pain.
Rachel McAdams in Mean Girls.
Rachel McAdams. Let's look it up.
Rachel McAdams in Wedding Crashers.
Oh, brother.
Rachel McAdams is a beauty.
Hey, Rachel McAdams in general.
Yeah. Oh, she was in The Notebook, which I've not seen, but I think that was one of her big.
Oh yeah, she was great in The Notebook.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in The Notebook. Yeah, dude, teen angst movies. They used
One
to
little respectable thing I'll say about Rachel McAdams is that she only selectively does movies now, and she is a family woman. She actually takes time out of Hollywood and only comes back for projects she really wants. And I'm not advocating the projects she chooses. I think she's chosen some weird ones more lately. So I'm not a fan. I'm just saying the part about her life I appreciate is that she is going against the flow in that she's not chasing that career so much that she's completely abandoning her family.
Yeah.
I think she lives in Texas.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
That's all you have to say about that. There's a
Don't watch Wedding Crashers.
Yeah. Really? You don't think so at all? I shouldn't watch Wedding Crashers?
Well, okay, don't watch the unrated one anyway. There's way too much nudity in it.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good point. I've never seen the unrated version.
Don't. Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what it's like on the unrated version, so I
think well, you know what? I've only ever seen the unrated version on TV.
Oh, okay.
I've only ever seen the version on TV.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's nudity or not.
So if it was properly censored, it might be okay.
I think I love Vince Vaughn, and I know that it's crass, but the just the tip, see how it feels joke is one of the all-time funniest. It's so funny. And I'm just,
What did he originate that?
Yeah, that was his
Because I just saw, what did I say? Oh, I went into the Army Navy store recently to buy overalls.
Yeah.
And in there they had like a little sticker and it had a picture of like a cartridge, like a piece of ammunition.
Yeah.
And it said, just the tip, I promise.
Interesting. How old was it?
What do you mean?
Like how old was what did the sticker, did it look old or like?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I think he's the one.
It was in a store last week is my point.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've never heard that expression anywhere else.
Oh, okay.
Just in that joke. Let's see.
I will say, there is a great, in Wedding Crashers, it is a redemptive story in that both of the main characters who only care about sleeping with women randomly at weddings and lying to them constantly throughout their whole facade is they go to a wedding that they're not invited to and pretend to be made up people in order to impress emotionally vulnerable women at the wedding and then sleep with them.
Right.
That's the whole premise. And then both of them go to this one wedding and eventually end up marrying the two girls that they target.
Yes.
So there's actually, there's
somewhat redeeming narrative.
Somewhat redeeming narrative. There's positive growth in a way that perhaps Hollywood wouldn't actually show today.
Yeah.
Because it's still on the trajectory of a traditional relationship and casting aside. And there's Vince Vaughn is playing opposite. What's his name?
One of the Wilson brothers.
Yes.
The blonde one.
The blonde one with the funny nose.
Oh wow, that one.
Yeah. Golly, can't remember.
I can't remember his name either.
Anyway, but he has a confession to make. Like Rachel McAdams' character, that's the one he ends up marrying.
Right.
And she, is this true? Like she finds out about that's their whole shtick was.
Right.
And he goes, yeah, and he confesses that. He's like, for as long as I can remember, my business was, meeting girls and business was good. I met a lot of girls, and he's expressing it with such remorse and regret that it's moving in this otherwise largely crass movie.
Good.
And Vince Vaughn's character, I love the scene with him and the Catholic priest. Do you remember that scene? He's drinking by himself and contemplating, because he's falling in love with this girl, and he's conflicted about it.
Okay.
And the priest comes by. It's like in the morning, and he's like just pouring himself scotches and drinking by himself. That's a great exchange. But the priest comes and sits down. He's like, everything okay? He's like the gentlest old man.
Yeah.
He's like, everything okay? He's like, yeah. He's like, that's all right, Father. It's like, no offense, but you and I may not be on the same wavelength,
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he's just very quiet through the whole thing and lets Vince Vaughn's character kind of just talk through his issues.
Yeah.
And he like pours him a drink to sit there. And he's like, come on, sit on down, Father. No one likes to drink alone. Like pours him a big glass. He's like, pick it up. I'm going to keep pouring until you pick it up. It's a really well acted scene. And it was a nice moment from a Christian talking to somebody who is on the outs. And I'm doing a bad job of describing it, but it was a good scene.
All right.
It stuck with me.
Good. Have you seen? Let's do it this way. Have you seen the movie Swingers?
A long time ago, I didn't really care for it.
Really?
But
It's so good.
I know it was famous. I don't think I understood it well enough.
Okay. So my dad showed me this. I'll play the audio for it for the guys who don't. Actually, you know what? I guess. Well, yeah, I'll do it. This is one of the. I think this is one of the funniest. This is like. This is. Okay, I'm gonna get a little autistic here. All right, guys. For those of you that don't know, the thing I am obsessed with, my life's work, my like passion above all things, the driving motivation that I have for my work and life in general is storytelling. And in movies and in writing in particular, I really care about them. This movie Swingers is shot so beautifully with so little money, and the writing is so good, and Vince Vaughn is so good. And I think this scene is like one of the all-time, like, every young man should see this scene and be like, some aspect of this scene should be incorporated into the essence of my being a little bit. So this is it. We'll play it. I'm going to actually mute our input so that I'll just kill this. All right, guys, we're going to kill our mics. That way I can turn this all the way up and Jason can hear it because we don't have headsets. So we'll be right back.
Shit, you shut up. Shut up. You were great tonight. There she is, the wonderful lady. Right? Personality plus all the time. Every time I come in here. Nothing but smiles for me. Whatever. I'm ready to eat. Here it is. Dinner at the Apollo. Me and you.
See that? He's being funny.
Whatever. I don't have to be liked to everyone. Some people don't like me. I don't like certain people. Darling, I think everything looks absolutely wonderful tonight. Ow! What the hell are you kicking me for? Fine, I'll ask her. You want me to ask her, ma'am? Where do the high school girls hang out around here? You know what, man? You were fucking off your ass tonight.
Shh.
Where did you learn to do all your stuff, man? At Twirly Whirly.
Jackknife, shut up. I took a ballroom class with Michelle. And she's the only one I danced with till tonight. That Lorraine is good, though.
You are definitely good. Did you even see how she was vibing you tonight?
Sorry, man.
You know what? You probably could have hit that if you didn't have to take us home.
Definitely. It's not like that.
Give me that shit, Mike. I think she liked you.
I know she liked me.
I really do.
Shut up, okay? I know she liked me. I just didn't want to do anything tonight.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? Honestly, you should probably wait 3 days before you
You don't
call.
have to wait 3 days.
You know what? You should wait 2 days.
You know
should
what?
probably wait 2 days.
You know what? I have it under control, okay?
He has it under control.
Oh, I guess we don't have to worry about him anymore.
Our little baby's all grown up. You know what?
Shut up. Come on. No.
Our little baby's all grown
Why
up.
do you have to? Gee, why do you have to?
I'm not even hungry. I couldn't touch it.
Why do you have to? A major production every time we go out and embarrass me. You know what? Oh, God. Jesus Christ. That's what all I have to do.
Our little boy is all grown up tonight. And you know what, big boy? You're grown up. You're grown up. Yeah, dig that. Is this a fucking production for you? Because you're grown up and you're grown up and you're grown up. I'm the asshole in the place, right? I'm the asshole. I'm out of here. I'm not eating anything. I wouldn't eat here. I would never eat here anyway.
All right, we're back. Just the mischief, just turning around to the guy and being like, "Hey, he's grown up. He's grown up." So they're sitting at a diner, and they're sitting in a booth. There's a guy behind him. Vince Vaughn's character.
They have nothing to do with.
Yeah, they have nothing to do with. Vince Vaughn's character turns around, gets his attention. He goes, "Hey, he's grown up. He's grown up." And then he grabs a plate of his food and hands it to the guy. He's like, "Hey, you want this? You want this?" It's so good, dude. And then standing up when he's like, "Stop, you're embarrassing me." He stands up on the table and starts screaming, "You grown up and you grown up." So good, dude. So good, man. There's got to be more of that energy. We got to bring that energy back into the fold. And that's good. That's good. How do we tie that into what we're talking about?
I don't know.
we've gone down such a rabbit hole.
It's your clip. What was the?
What was the?
You
I was
said
talking
that
about
some of that has to be incorporated into every man's life. Is that
every
what
man's
that
life.
was?
I mean, I think we got to bring mischief back. Dude.
Mischief. Okay.
I think we got to bring mischief back. And I mean, I think the thing about being mischievous is that there's this. There's a fun lovingness to it. There's a childlike sort of charm. There's but there's also a lack of fear. And I think that that's a big.
Where he says, "That's not everybody likes me. That's okay. That I don't like some people."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like there's this lack of fear. And I think that that's really missing. And I think that you can tie into the mortality thing by saying like we are in an era, we are at war. This is not peacetime. And you are going to have, you're going to have these really intense moments of having to choose between doing the right thing and suffering for it and being a coward. And you are not, if your priority is self-preservation, if your priority is self-love, taking care of yourself, you are not going to stand up for what you have to do. You will not fall on your sword. You will not stand up, stare down the orcs. You will not say the thing that you have to say in the moment. You'll be scared of your wife. You'll be scared. One of the things that it talks about is in that ad, in the new St. Andrews ad, is not being scared of women. Dude.
Do not be beholden.
Oh my goodness. Dude.
He had to pull his mic away for that one.
Holy smokes. You need to stop being scared of women. You are smart. I'm sorry. This is going to get a little sexist. You are smarter than girls. You are more emotionally regulated than them. You can spin them out easier. You can, if they hit you in the head, they'll break their hand. It's not, you have to stop being scared of women. We messed up, but I'm back though. And I'm fired up right now, dude. You have to stop being scared of women. Okay? Stop taking directions from girls. It is not, dude, please. I understand they're pretty. I understand that they have some sort of odd social clout right now. But dude, you have to be okay with the fact that they can tattle on you and they can turn a group of, the only appeal that these twisted harlots can make, the only power that they have is that they can appeal to other men to come enforce whatever weird gay little social order that they want to enforce. Okay? If you are not scared, if you are willing to stand up to them, you can volleyball spike these girls. And that is what you have to do. I'm sorry. Okay? It's not, we are not in peacetime. It is not time to be whimsical and funny and he's so nice and whatever. It's not time to be that way. Okay? It's time to be indomitable. It is time to be a monster. That is what it's time to be. And brother, listen, if you're single and you're scared and whatever, and I just want a wife, whatever, I'm in pain, bro. I'm in pain. I'm so lonely. You want to make a girl go, What a guy. I got to get close to him. Be a lion. Be scary. You will have these women, you'll need a stick, brother. You'll need to physically defend yourself from these girls that are coming at you so hard. Okay? Be a monster. Girls think that this is a Jordan Peterson thing, but the girls think that what they want is a man who's too scared to do anything. They think it's virtuous to be weak. They think it's virtuous to be helpless. But what's virtuous is to be a monster, to be capable of destroying things and choosing not to. That's virtuous. That's virtuous. It isn't virtuous to be helpless. So get up, get on a horse, get a sword, charge in. All right? And this mischief thing is a part of that. You should be being silly with your boys in public. You should be sir, I'm sorry, would you like a plate of food? This embarrassing your friend, talking smack to it. You should be doing these things. All right? You should be. You should be standing on a table. You should be doing it. And maybe there'll come a time in 20 years when that's not the case, but it's not now. It's not now. Now's the time to stand on a table. Now's the time to be verbose. Now's the time is to be a smoking, drinking Christian. Maybe not a cussing Christian. Maybe reel it in. Maybe be respectable. Don't tamper with your witness. But dude, you got to toughen up. You got to scrape your knees. You got to put some dirt in those wounds. You got to get serious, brother. And your mortality is guaranteed in these moments. You are going to suffer consequences. People are going to get mad at you. You are going to be the asshole. You are. But I'm sorry. It's not time to be soft-spoken. It's not time to listen and obey and keep your head down. It's not time for that. It's time to get kicked out of class. It's time to get revoked. You cannot re-enroll this year in classes. That happened to me. I got kicked out of college. It's time for that. It's time to make people uncomfortable. That's what it's time for. It's time to lose your job. It's time to make a point, make a stand, have a chest, be robust, work out, read enough books that your mind is such a cracking whip that people are scared to disagree with you. That's what you should be doing. You should be so physically intimidating that people are scared to disagree with you. You should be such that people should know if they step to you, you're going to volleyball spike them into the ground, logically. Like they should know that.
Jesus was untouchable intellectually.
Yes, untouchable.
Untouchable. And, like we talked about last episode, untouchable physically in his raging through the temple grounds.
Yeah.
By himself.
By himself, alone. You should be that way, man. You should be that way. And that's what it's time to do, dude. That's what it's time to do. And you should take all that power and all that strength that you cultivate, and you should lay it at the feet of the people the Lord has charged you to protect, and lay it down and say, this is for you. I'm doing this for you. I am not, they talk about in the ad, these fake masculinitons or whatever the word is, whatever. And this Andrew Tate, I'm British, mate. Isn't it? I'm gonna get so many girls. I've got multiple wives. Isn't it? Like this fake. Andrew Tate is out for himself, and he's a
facade of masculinity.
Yeah, he's a great kickboxer. He's
an actual. The masculine toxicity.
Right. Yes, the toxic.
He's an actual toxic male.
Yes.
He's taking the parts of masculinity that are good and steroiding them, and discarding the parts that make it virtuous.
Yeah, and he's co-opting them for his own gain.
Right, and so he is tricking a lot of men who are seeking for true masculinity,
right.
And they get a taste of true masculinity, but it's a facade.
Yes,
and they're led down a dark path.
Yeah, they're led down a dark path, and everything becomes a zero-sum game. Where I'm rich, I've got a Bugatti. What do you have? You have nothing. You're a maggot. You're a little boy, and I have a Bugatti. I go to expensive restaurants and eat steak. I'm a brown man. I'm not even really British. You like real men who have real power are not scared. And when you are not scared, you are often equanimous. You are at peace. You're not You're not walking around trying to start fights with people. Nothing is a zero-sum game. You're extremely generous. You're helpful. You are reliable. People in your community they know they can call you, that they know they can help you out, that you're going to help them. Women will be attracted to you. Other women that are not necessarily in a position, it's not appropriate to feel attracted to you. They'll at least feel safe. They'll know that if something happens, you're the type of guy they want to run into on the street if they're having a problem. These are the things that matter, dude. And this turning the masculine essence, the masculine power in on itself to make it this thing that isn't sacrificial, that it's a zero-sum game where you're going to go out and you're going to conquer and seed and get everything you want. You're going to end up in the Mediterranean with a fine bitch hanging out, driving a Bugatti in Ibiza, is for faggots. That is for little shrimp boys. That is for people who have no meaning. They have nothing. Those people will die, and they will fade off into dust, and their empires will crumble, and they will have nothing. Nothing. And it will do, even in their lives, dude, they will stay anxious and infantile and cowardly, and in their cowardliness, because they're indomitable and scary, they will strike out and hurt others and cause damage, and they will leave the world a worse place than what it was when they came into it. And what's the point in that? Why would you want that? Who cares? You got an extra $1 million in your pocket or whatever. You got to go to a nice restaurant. First of all, these guys go to fake nice restaurants. They go, ooh. Bro, these guys suck. Anyways, I'll get off my horse. Just, dude, it's time, man. It's time. It's time to storm the beaches. It is time to storm the beaches.
This is your battle call.
This is your battle call. And it's very scary, man. It's very scary. But you got to face your fears. When I started fighting, I was incredibly scared of sparring. And I'm a heavyweight, so I have to spar like literally just like actually just black dudes on steroids. That's who I get to fight. And I'm not going pro. Okay. There was a minute there where I thought I was going to fight. But that's not happening. But the confidence and the ease of being that I gained from standing up to that fear and gaining those skills. Now I know. Now I don't feel physically scared of anybody. I feel at peace in most rooms. The confidence that I gained from it is great. And so the point I'm trying to make is that if you freaking aim at the moon, and if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. Like you will. There is something to gain just by going on the adventure. There are things to be gained. So even if you don't achieve your goal, you're still, who knows what you'll get from it. So what I'm saying is that even if you fail, it's not really until death. All failure is mental. All failure is emotional. All failure is you quitting. As long as you don't quit, then it's not really over. So it just,
all failures are learning experiences.
Yeah, all failures are learning experiences.
They are what you learn. They are how you learn best.
Yeah. And
they are teaching moments. And if you quit and walk away in that, you are a failure.
You are. Yeah, you are a failure.
That doesn't mean you can't walk back to the battlefield after running sometime.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think to use the Normandy analogy, there's no way to do what we're talking about without acceptance and without submission to God's will. Those guys, you hear the interviews of the World War II veterans talking about storming the beaches and talking about that stuff. And all of them universally are like, well, we had a job to do. And you knew that at any moment your life could get snatched right away, snatched out from under you like nothing. And you saw it happen to your friends, and you saw it happen all around you. You became very familiar with death, and you just accepted it. And you knew you had a job to do, so you just stood up and did it.
I wonder if we could look up another movie clip.
Yeah.
Band of Brothers, Captain Spears talking to, I can't remember his name, Private. So in the miniseries, Band of Brothers, one of the just indomitable characters. What is that guy's name?
Spears talking. Is this the scene you're looking for? I mean, I know the
Maybe.
I know
No.
who you're talking about.
I think he's in the hospital. Anyway, Captain Spears gives a motivational speech to a soldier who has lost his sight out of fear. He literally couldn't see because he was just so terrified and out of his mind. And Captain Spears tells him about what it takes to be a soldier and how you have to just assume that you're already dead. And then you are free to perform the duties that you need to.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find it because YouTube
All right.
sucks now. But yes, I mean that's beautiful. Is that like, dude? Imagine.
And after that, that soldier does come around. He gets his sight back, and then he ends up dying in the line of duty because he volunteers to take point on one of the little expeditions and gets shot in the neck by a sniper.
Yeah.
And so he dies as a true soldier who was doing his job.
Yes.
So it's fantastic.
Yes. And listen, man, I know that sounds scary or whatever. You know, getting hurt, losing things. It sounds scary, but you're the alternative. And this is, I think, such a powerful motivator for me and for me, and I think a lot of guys who do stand up to their fears, is that the alternative is living as a coward. And living as a coward is such a tumultuous, painful, pathetic little existence that it isn't worth it. It isn't worth it. Preserving whatever part of you that you don't want to lop off or let be lopped off is not worth it. It isn't. It isn't. I'm sorry. There's nothing more. There's no more complexity to it. There's nothing more to explain. You're going to have anxiety and fear. You're going to feel like a worm for the rest of your life. And you know those guys. You've been around little dorks who at one point stared the abyss in the face and they looked away. They flinched. And that was it for them. The book closed. Their life is over. All they'll ever be is a middle management worker who has nothing. They'll resent their wives and their families. They'll resent themselves. They get divorces. Their lives fall apart. They lose their hair. They're not contributors. They're not power players. They're not guys that get out there and get things done. They're not reliable. Everybody knows that they're just, all right, listen, all the guys who get shit done know those guys and know if there's some menial task I don't want to deal with, I'll assign it to him. That's what he's good for, is doing my grunt work I don't want to do.
That's the clip. I just saw the dialogue come across.
Oh,
The one
this
you're
is the
hovering
clip?
over right there. Yeah.
Okay, this is the clip. All right, here we go.
You want to mute us again or?
Yeah, I'll mute us so you and I can listen to it.
All right, here we go.
Lieutenant. Sir, when I landed on D-Day, I found myself in a ditch all by myself. I fell asleep. I think it was air sickness pills they gave us. When I woke up, I didn't really try to find my unit to fight. I just kind of stayed put.
What's your name, Trooper?
Blythe, sir. Albert Blythe.
You know why you hid in that ditch, Blythe?
I was scared.
We're all scared. You hid in that ditch because you think there's still hope. But Blythe, the only hope you have is to accept the fact that you're already dead. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll be able to function as a soldier's supposed to function. All war depends upon it.
Excellent stuff.
Wow.
Excellent stuff.
Oh my goodness.
All war depends upon it. And that, dude.
We are in war. It depends on every single man listening to this podcast to assume himself already dead for the sake of Christ in order to perform as a soldier is supposed to perform.
Yeah. And you are already dead. You are already dead.
If you've given your life to Christ, you are dead to Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're dead to sin. You're alive in Christ.
Right.
So you have a new life. And this one won't end.
Yeah, and if you have not given your life to Christ, then you're dead anyways. Then what does it matter?
Then you're dead
You're
to
dead,
Christ.
dead. Yeah, you're dead to Christ. You're dead. You're dead. You're just dead. You just are dead. And there's this cynicism right now that what I was going to say originally about the postmodern thing in high school, me thinking I was so much smarter than everybody else, was that I saw all these people that believed in something and I thought they were fools, and I thought that that they were all being conned by some message that things mattered and that they were being fooled into sacrificing themselves and their lives for the greater good or whatever. But I was way too smart for that. I wasn't going to be caught by anybody. No. My life was going to be lived for me. I was free. I was free of the shackles of the American mind, that things, whatever, that there's some grand narrative of glory that you can achieve or whatever. And that was a wretched, pathetic way to live. And I was so depressed and so sad. And there was so little that I could do to get out of that situation. And everyone around me was so much more happy. And guys were, I don't know, man. It was a bad way. It was a bad place to be. And I don't envy anybody. I feel bad for these dudes that are that way. I mean, I play video games with some guys who I don't know what their plan is. I play video games with this one kid who's 25 who works retail and is like a union labor coordinator. And he's real liberal, and I've talked about him before. He thinks that prices at grocery stores are high because grocery stores are price gouging, which is just such a retarded little way of
the Canadian guy.
Yeah. He thinks that he just thinks everything's hopeless, that there's no reason to have kids, and why would you have kids? Kids are stupid. Kids are annoying. They're snot-nosed little brats.
My youngest brother expressed, concern. He goes, man, it just doesn't seem like, this is paraphrasing, but it seems like a bad time to have kids.
When's a good time?
This is the time when you have to have kids.
Right, yeah. When was it a better time?
This is how you outnumber them.
Yeah. Pre-industrial revolution, when kids died in the dozens, was that the better time? Like when was a good time to have kids? Please tell me, when in human history were things so good? What, under socialist rule, where the in communist Russia? I mean, that's what these people want, right? They say that communist Russia was actually good and that it's all propaganda and that it was whatever Jew thing you're thinking in your head about communist Russia being good. Like it was better under communism, under socialism, under social democracy. It was better to have kids back when the Russian government was having to put out pamphlets reminding people not to eat their children because they were starving. That was a better time to have kids, right? Right? That was when it was better, before global warming or whatever gay thing you're thinking about. And there's just this learned hopelessness, but it's also it's more nefarious than the fact that it's learned hopelessness. It's just like people want it. Like this kid wants things to be bad. He wants them to be hopeless. He wants the indomitable, dangerous capitalism to be keeping its boot on his throat. Because if it is, and he's helpless, then he doesn't have to do anything. He gets to check in at his stupid retail job.
Just get out of free jail card.
Yeah, just get
out of jail free card.
Yeah, he has to take no risks. And that's what this is about. That's what this entire podcast episode is about. It's about taking risks, sacrificing yourself. He gets to put his head down and hide behind other men that are stronger and more powerful and more willing to do things.
And getting shot.
Yeah, and getting shot and dying and building a society so that he can go check in at his retail job and be comfy. Just be comfy and then come home and play World of Warcraft.
Yeah. He's Private Blythe, who landed on the beach, didn't find his unit, and hid in a hole. Right.
And he resents himself and he's scared. And so in order to stay guilt-free in the situation, he's not only is he free to do nothing because of the actions of greater men, but in order to not be ashamed of it, he turns around and says, those greater men are racist. I'm actually in this situation because of those greater men. If those greater men would quit dealing with prices and markets, then I could be free to finger paint or whatever. Like whatever it is, and I'll bleep that F word. That was not a good one. The point I'm trying to make is that why? Just do what I'm telling you to do. Oh, there it is. Okay, got it.
Blaming others. Blaming powerful men for...
Yeah, blaming powerful men to get out of your responsibility to get things done. Blaming powerful men that are willing to do things. And there's so much of that, dude. There's so many little beta males snaking around in the grass trying to pull the pants down on the guys getting stuff done. And that's... what is that? That's like, it's like the way that these guys try to promulgate themselves. Like it's the only way that they can win is to play these little word games and play these little logic games and try to dodge having to actually do anything or risk anything. And I'm sorry, but if you want I'll speak to my own motivation because I don't know what people want. Jason can speak to his motivations too because Jason wants great things and I want great things. But I want great things. I do want to be famous. I am trying to make a bunch of money and that means you have to take risks. I just went last week. I went through a very scary interview where I had to present something and really put myself out there and took a huge risk. Making myself look like a fool. And I was praying every day, Lord, listen, even if this goes badly, if I don't do well and I don't get the job, just please don't let me look like a fool. Please don't let me look like an idiot in front of these guys. Because these guys know my dad. And they're all like in our world, in our profession, they're like the patriots.
Okay.
At their peak. Like these are the guys. And I have to get in front of them and be like, well, this is what I would do in this situation. And so I was like, Lord, please do not let me make a fool of myself in front of these guys. And I did make a fool of myself in some ways. And they gave me that feedback of like, it was funny that you did this because that's definitely not what you should do. But I got the job and they liked me a lot. And they knew, they were like, this is a kid. He's one of us.
Yeah.
Because he's willing to, like the guy literally, one of the interviewers literally said, you were in a bad position. You were saying something stupid. You looked like an idiot. And I could see in your face, you knew that that's what was happening. And you didn't panic. And you brought yourself out of it. You redirected. You got in a good, it wasn't much better, but it was a better situation. And I think if it was a real world scenario, it would have played out in your angle, in your
favor.
In your favor. Yeah, in your favor. And
pulled up, got out of that tailspin.
Right, exactly.
Instead of panicking and hitting the ground and exploding.
Right, and because of the fact that I took a risk, it wasn't the fact that I achieved the thing I was trying to achieve. It wasn't because I did it well. I got this job making. Listen, I'm not. This is just this is the reward you get. Okay, I got a job making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, because I took a risk, not because I took a risk and did it well. I got that job because I took a risk. And the people on that call, the people I was doing the interview with, recognized the risk I was taking, recognized that I kept a cool head, that I didn't panic, and knew I was scared. They knew I was afraid because they've been in that position. They've been my age. They've been younger and have taken those risks and done those things because they're great men. And they've achieved greatness. and they knew they saw in me the same willingness to look like an idiot and take a risk and lop off a part of they saw my willingness to face my own mortality. And they went, we can work with that. We can work with that. We can make this guy great.
Right. He can be trained.
He can be trained. And I have the same, when I'm looking back on people.
He has a willingness. He has the right mental space for it.
Yeah. And I'm now in my life, and Jason is in his, Jason's ahead of me. I didn't realize this, but you're almost 10 years older than I am. Jason's further down this road and has more capacity to do this because he's got more experience and he's got more wisdom, more things to tell people. But I'm in a place now where I'm 30 years old and I've achieved a couple good things, and I have a good marriage and a successful family and an obedient daughter that people like. And so I can turn around and help some guys. And dude, I'm telling you right now, the guys that I look at who look weak-kneed, I don't, if I don't get the sense that they can cut it, that they have what it takes, then I just go, I'm going to save my energy for a guy I think has what it takes.
Yeah.
And to the guys that I think have what it takes, like I'm going out of my way right now to help this kid, to help a friend get a job, like helping him get interviews, like walking him through stuff. And if I ever have an opportunity to give him a job, which I may soon, it's going to happen. Like, I'm going to be like, all right, you're my man. I'm bringing you in. And so that's like, it's not even, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that you don't even have to actually be good at anything.
No.
Go ahead.
No, it's totally that mental space, and people who are in the position of power and greatness now can in general recognize it.
Yeah.
The ones who are good.
Yeah.
When I was a volunteer firefighter for a few years, and when I first joined up, when I was a recruit, it was a combination station. So they had career staff who were paid, and they had volunteer staff.
Okay.
Who were not paid, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was a volunteer. The career staff had been there a long time, of course. They were all veterans, and they knew what they were doing inside and out. They always had, every year they would have a new crowd of recruits, of volunteers come in that they kind of had to help train in some ways, or had to work on shift with, because they worked in combination with each other. It wasn't separate activities. There were some separate things, but the point was the career staff, in large part, there was a constant tension or frustration with the volunteers because there was ineptitude there and inexperience or laziness in some way. And so they wouldn't put their time into teaching certain ones that they saw as like, he's not going to be around in a year. Why would I bother?
Right.
And I was one of the ones that got poured into.
Yeah.
Simply because they saw in me somebody who was going to stick it out.
Yeah.
So I was poured into and given lots of time and effort and conversation and instruction that others weren't, simply because of the way I was and what I was there for.
Yeah.
I was there to learn. I was there to be a career person. I was going to make that my career.
Right.
And my goal. I wasn't just there as a hobby or like, it sounded fun, so I'm going to do it. And if I don't care for it, I'll move on, So they pick up on that. People of experience can identify that. They can identify apathy, laziness, and deliberate stupidity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
negligence.
Yeah. Yes. So you will, if you put yourself around those people and show that you are willing to humble yourself and to be trainable, somebody is going to pick up on that and pour into you. But if you are weak-kneed, like Ethan was saying, they are not going to give you a second look. They'll ignore you. They'll just wait for you to leave. Or they'll make things hard on you so that you do leave.
Right, yeah.
And maybe they'll be hard on you as a way of testing you, so that if you stand up under it, they'll go, okay, he's got the metal.
Right, he's got what it takes.
Yeah, he came out of the refinery and he wasn't totally burned up.
Right.
We can work with this metal now.
Right, exactly.
We've burned off some of the dross through being and that's where like fraternities, you're trying to weed out, what is it called? what is the process? Well, hazing, basically.
Right. Yeah. Hazing. Yes. Hazing is to weed out the guys who don't.
It's not just for, I mean, it could be turned into and taken too far. It can be turned into
Yes.
just cruelty.
Yes, but it
and
does
there
have a
are
purpose.
people in those positions of greatness, unfortunately, who are cruel, and you need to identify them and stay away from them.
Yeah.
Learn what you can if possible, but also seek out the people who are teachers and educators who will put their wing around you and say, here, come along with me. I'll show you how things are really done.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
there were people at those at that fire station who were worthless people.
Yeah.
Like they weren't worth learning from mostly, or they were just cruel for cruelty's sake, or they were worn out.
Yep.
They didn't want to deal with it anymore. But there were some who still had some hope for the next generation of firefighters and paramedics, and they wanted to pour into them to make them good, because somebody had done that to them.
Right. That's how they got there. Exactly.
Or somebody didn't do it for them and they wished that somebody had.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think that's exactly right. And you're in this position, especially as a young guy, you are, I mean, I really can't, I kind of want to revisit this interview thing because I really can't drive home how much I messed it up. Right? I feel like I can't make that, I can't stress that enough. Like I messed it up. We did a role play where there was somebody, one of the guys pretended to be the customer and I pretended to be the sales guy. And I did a bad job all the way through from beginning to end. I did a bad job.
Oh no.
And it didn't, the next day, the hiring manager called me and I could hear the smile in his voice. And he said, "Hey man, we want you to join the team." And because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I used to get so like worked up about whether or not I was going to be successful.
Yeah.
And I felt like if I couldn't do it, there was no reason to even try. But that's not what's important. That is not what's important. When you're charging the beach, it is not it's very strange, but it's not whether or not you actually get to the bunker and take it over. That's not the thing that matters. It's the fact that you charged the beach at all. And somehow in that, God facilitates success. Somehow in that, his plan is brought to fruition. And it's not the thing that you can rest easy knowing is that it's not your job to understand how that's possible.
It's your job to follow orders as a Christian soldier.
Right, exactly. It's your job to follow orders. It's not your job to understand the larger picture. It's not your job to understand what God's doing or his plan or how this is all going to pan out. It's your job to pick up the rifle, get your feet in the fucking sand and walk forward. That's your job.
It's your job to populate the earth. It is your job to protect and grow your family. It is your job to provide for them. It is your job to nurture them. It is your job to stand in community with other believers because we are stronger as a group. A cord of, a bundle of 3 cords is not easily broken.
Yeah.
As opposed to you standing by yourself.
Yeah.
Get together with other brothers and stand together in solidarity and fight.
Yeah. Fight.
Get your back against somebody else's back.
Yeah, dude. And if you have a job, dude, if you have a job that you hate, that you think is soul sucking, that is this pounding, annoying, malicious little girl boss, manager, or whatever, like if you got to go in the office every day and you hate it and you don't want to do whatever, good. Soak it up, brother. Get in there. Be miserable. Do it. Be miserable like that so your wife doesn't have to. Be miserable like that so your wife can sit down with your kids and finger paint and look at flowers and walk around all whimsy, not caring about anything. Good. Be miserable. It makes you stronger. It's worth it. It's worth it. It is worth it to fight. It is worth it to fight for the people around you. Let your boss be a miserable, twisted little dork. Let them make your life more miserable. Good. If your life is miserable, it means your girls doesn't have to be. It means your wife doesn't have to be. It means your kids get more. It means the community around you get more. If you make more money, it means you can give more to your church. It means you can hire more labor out of the church. It means you can help out young families. If you tackle things, if you're miserable, the more misery you take on, the less other people have to take on. And that's what Christ did. That's what he did. He took on every ounce of misery anybody could so that we could avoid it. And that is what you are called to do. You are called to be miserable so that other people don't have to. And you should let that misery feed your fire. You should let that misery give you drive and fill you with purpose and know that it matters. It matters. It matters that you're miserable. It is good for everyone else that you're miserable. You should wake up every morning and go, God, this sucks! And then smile and put your boots on and go to work. And get a nice fat burger for lunch or whatever to reward yourself and feel good about it, dude. You're a man. Be a man. Be a man. Suffer and let it drive you, dude. Please. Quit being scared. Quit being scared. Ask her out. Who cares if she says no? Who cares? There's a dozen of them. They're all hot. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for your family. Do things that suck. Take risks. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. What does it matter? Why not try? You're gonna die. It doesn't matter. Take a risk. Go out there. I'm screaming into a microphone to almost no one. If anybody outside of this situation saw this, it would look absurd and ridiculous, but I don't care. It's worth it. If Hyper Premium goes nowhere and all this kid, like my friends from college see this and are like, Ethan's basically doing the equivalent of trying to be a SoundCloud rapper, then I'll look like a fool. But what does it matter? What does it matter? My wife respects me because I do this. My daughter will grow up knowing that her father tried. That he tried. I'll bleep that one too. Got a lot of bleeping to do in this episode. It's worth it. My daughter will grow up knowing that her father tried. And that she should marry a man who's going to try. And Jason's kids are going to grow up knowing that their father tried. And there's nothing, you can't ask for any more than that, man. Suffer. Suffer and suffer nobly. That's it. We're at an hour.
Go to church.
Yeah, go to church, man.
Find a girl, marry her, and impregnate her as many times as you can.
As many times as you can. Yeah, have lots of sex.
And if you can't impregnate her, have sex with her a lot anyway.
Yeah, dude, it's super awesome. Very sick. Good for you.
Not because it's great, because it feels great, but because God told you to.
God told you to, baby. God told you to, baby.
And she needs it as much as you do, even if she doesn't think she does.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we love you. Like Jason said, go to church. We are praying for you, and we do pray for you. If you have any questions, if there's anything you want to say, we will also, if you guys do have questions, you can email us. We will read them, and we will answer them live. So feel free to email us. I promise I'll check them. I'll check that email at least once a week. But yeah, the email is workhard@hyperpremium.co. Leave comments, suggestions, whatever in the comment section of Substack and YouTube. If you guys will please, if you're listening to this on Spotify, please leave a review. That is very helpful to the algorithm. The more reviews we have, the better that looks for us. And this is growing very slowly, but at some point we will reach critical mass. You can get in early. And we do appreciate you. The guys who are listening to this, we do appreciate you giving us your time.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. All right, guys, we love you. We're out. Goodbye.